What's up, everybody? We are back for week 2 NFL predictions, who we like, and it was a crazy week 1. And speaking of crazy, look at us. We're here. We're super excited. We are jacked up to talk about week 2. And I am Matt McLear, also known as Beard Laws. And who are you?
Well, I'm Matt Brown. You know me here as Ohana Jones.
Bringing in a new amazing guest, the one, the only Brandon J. McDermott. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, how's it going? Good to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
Super excited. And for anybody that is just watching, you know what we do. We went over week 1, our predictions, who we like. We talked about each game, and we did it so well. And I'm pretty sure you guys loved it. We said, you know what? We're going to come back for week 2. We're going to be bigger. We're going to be better. And hopefully our predictions are better as well. First up is the Thursday night game. It's going to be the Giants and the Redskins. The Giants are going to be the home team, and they are giving 4 points. So Washington is the favorite here with 4 points. Matt, who do you like here?
Well, look, I honestly think this line is too low. There's nothing that the Giants did against the Broncos in week 1 that convinced me that they have a shot against this pretty decent Washington team. I don't care who the quarterback is with Ryan Fitzpatrick hurt. Like, Washington should handle this one.
Yep. What do you think, Brandon?
You know, the Giants, as Matt said, obviously suffered against the Broncos' top-flight defense. That's right. I said it. Top-flight defense. This week, I expect a little bit of the same with the Giants unable to get that running game going against the Washington football team's strong defensive front led by Chase Young.
I hate to be the guy that just continues to agree with you, but I agree. The Giants, well, really any team in the NFC East, I don't trust. But if you have to pick one, Washington, they seem like the more complete team. The Giants up and down, knowing that even though they're the home team, which typically gets a point to a point and a half, still giving up 4, I think Washington handles them fairly easy, especially with 4. So I do agree with you guys there. Let's go right for the 1 o'clock games this Sunday, which is going to be the 19th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're living that West Coast life, you get to watch football in the morning.
That's me right here. I love it.
So we're going to start it off with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are giving 3.5 points to the Denver Broncos. A couple of others have it right around the 6.5 mark. So let's go with the 6. All right.
Von Miller could have a good week here. You know, Von Miller and company, they could dominate Jacksonville. Boy, did Jacksonville struggle in week 1. I wouldn't even be surprised if this is a shutout. I like the Broncos in this one for sure.
I hate to echo Matt, and I promise we're going to have some disagreements here today, but I expect the Broncos to have another strong game against the young rookie-led Jaguars. The Broncos have a strong defense all over, and I expect them again to wreak havoc, and that havoc to be laid on Trevor Lawrence, who I'm very high on even after just 1 game in his NFL career.
I really like this Denver team at home against that young quarterback. It was the first regular season game that Lawrence has ever lost in his career in week 1. I think they're going to start off 0-2, and he's just going to see a defense that he's never seen before. Denver is pretty good, and Bridgewater look good. Surprised by it when you have a defense that good. Your offense only has to be somewhat okay. So maybe the Jaguars can put a little more pressure on them. But yeah, I like them -6. This next game, let's get right into it. The Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. Bills back-to-back home games, and they're going to be a 3.5 point favorite.
I want to see if you guys disagree with me on this one. I think this is a big opportunity for the Dolphins to make a statement in the AFC East. Josh Allen and the Bills are coming down south to what I see is forecasted at 87 degrees with a 76% humidity and a chance of thunderstorms. I mean, last year's matchup in Miami was only decided by 3 points. I mean, I think the Dolphins could cover. They could keep it real close, or they could pull off the upset.
All very solid points, but I must disagree here. I like Buffalo, even on the road. You saw how Miami's defense did last week against rookie QB Mac Jones. I see Josh Allen bouncing back after a tough loss last week in Pittsburgh and returning the Bills to 2020 form. So I'm going to take the Bills here, even at that spread.
Josh Allen seems, you know, yes, he's a veteran, I guess, by definition, but he's not a veteran in my eyes, but he seems very mature. Their defense looked great. If it honestly wasn't in week 1 for the block punt and the touchdown by the Steelers, the Bills probably would have not only covered, but potentially won that game. I do think that this line is going to move throughout the week. We have the Eagles and we have the Niners. We got a little East Coast versus West Coast. And the opening odds that we have are Niners in a couple of different places. There's a 3 and a 3.5, so we're going to go 3.5 -3.5 for the Niners.
I think this could actually be a high-scoring affair. Just going off of week 1 alone, I mean, both quarterbacks and Jimmy Garoppolo, and really taking a little bit of hurts for the Philadelphia Eagles fans that are like, oh, I don't know about him. I mean, I think you're going to take him against this San Francisco defense. We'll see. We'll see. The Niners faltered in the second half, but we'll see if they have recovered. I do think they can recover and control in the end. I like the Niners.
I think this is one of the more interesting matchups of this week that I think folks aren't really talking about, but I expect a very close back and forth tight game. However, Philly is 5-1 against the spread over their last 6 games at home, and the Niners are 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. I like Philly to cover here at home.
I'm going to go with the Niners. They have a couple of players that even though it's week 2, they're really kind of playing for their role to remain in their position. And I really just think that the Eagles in the NFC East, I don't trust it. I'm going to continue to say it all year. These Eagles, can they repeat it against this great team? I personally don't think so. So I like the Niners at 3.5 here. I think they're going to win easily by a touchdown, maybe even a little bit more. We have the Rams traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. This is another 1 o'clock game, and this opened up at 4. So the Rams are a 4-point favorite on the road.
Look, it's week 2, and I think the Rams are already in mid-season form. Look, the Colts have potential, but they may need till the actual middle part of the season to click. Like Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, and company should have no problem.
How good did the Rams look with Matt Stafford? You know, they say the grass is always greener on the other side. Matt's got a new home. He's got a new backyard, and he's feeling good sitting back with his drink. I expect them to cover 4 in week 2 on the road. The Colts haven't been great as of late against the spread, going 1-6 in their last 7 games. So I'm taking the Rams to cover 4 here.
I think at home, week 2, I think that crowd is going to go crazy. I think they have a potential to be a playoff team. I think they have enough to keep it close. Not only potentially win the game, but I think they're going to have enough to at least cover the spread here at 4 or 4.5. I think this line is going to move, so make sure you guys obviously keep an eye on it. We have the Raiders taking on the Steelers in Pittsburgh, coming off that big win versus Buffalo, opening up at a 6-point favorite are the Steelers.
The ball bounced the Steelers' way in week 1, and I think they can ride that momentum. I think Mike Tomlin teams do like riding off of momentum, and beating a great Bills team into hosting the Raiders, I think Pittsburgh should handle this.
I think this is the time where Matt squared, start throwing stuff at me. And everybody's going to laugh at this, but I expect the Raiders to take this with the upset. The Steelers had that big win in week 1, an upset of the Bills, of course, but the Raiders bettered themselves in the offseason with a stronger pass rush after only sacking the quarterback 21 times last year in 2020. I think that pays off big here, getting an aging giant, Ben Roethlisberger, on that turf several times this game. I take the Raiders with an upset.
I'm going to go Steelers. 1, because they're at home. 2, first home game, you know what I mean? They started off last season on fire. Raiders are playing the Monday night game. So not only do they have to travel from the West to the East, they have to do it on a short week. And I think the Steelers are just going to be a little more rested, a little more prepared. I think they're going to double-digit win. So I'm liking the Steelers here. Next matchup, another 1 o'clock game. We got the Battle of the Bees. We got the Bears and the Bengals. Bears are opening as a 3-point favorite.
Burrow looked great with an explosive Bengals offense in week 1, but a better pass rush is coming. And I think they're mad. Like Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks coming off a rough Bears loss. So I think this will be close. I will ultimately lean towards Cincy. I don't know if anyone has an answer for Jamar Chase yet.
I'm not going to sit here and say that Bears pass rush doesn't scare me if I'm a Bengals fan. It certainly does. But I think the Bengals have Joe Burrow, as you said, their franchise quarterback back. He's got some confidence after getting a nice win in week 1 over the Vikings. But the Bengals, however, got waxed by the Rams. This is at Soldier Field, but I don't really think it matters. The Bears are 3-7 over the last 10 at home. I'm going with the Bengals here.
I don't trust the Bears. I don't care if they're home. I don't care if they're away. I just don't think they're that great of a team. There's too many uncertainties in the offense. Their defense is great, but you still need some kind of offense. Until the rookie quarterback gets in there, gets a couple of games under his belt, I just think they're still a little ways out there. And the next matchup that we're talking about, you got the Cleveland Browns hosting the Houston Texans. I think the Texans were a little bit of a surprise in week 1, and the Browns just kind of fell apart. They did what Cleveland did. Opening line is 11.5-point favorite for the Browns.
I think the first thing I'm going to do is not overreact to the Texans week 1 performance. I think the Browns look pretty good against the almighty Chiefs. I know they faltered. I get that. But Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt still looked like they were well-oiled machines, and they could be the engines to run all over this field against Houston. They should be Cleveland all the way.
Yes, the Jaguars aren't a great team, but I'm flummoxed that a Tyrod Taylor Texans team routed Jacksonville so thoroughly in week 1. That said, Vegas doesn't think it'll last with Cleveland being a big favorite here. I'm taking Houston against the spread, but expect the Browns to win.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Brandon. I think the Texans are not a, you know what I mean, 11.5. I don't think that they're going to get blown out that bad, even though the Browns have the potential to put up a lot of points. But I like Houston here to cover the spread. Do I think they're going to win? No. But I do like how you're not going to overreact and all of a sudden think, oh, the Texans are going to win that division. We have the Panthers and we have the Saints. The Saints are going to be a 3-point favorite.
Hassan Reddick, Derek Brown, and the Panthers are an underrated pass rush to me in this league. The number 8 pick in the draft, just a fun fact, that's J.C. Horn. He's a corner for the Carolina Panthers. His dad, Joe Horn, played for the Saints. This could be his chance to show up and show out against the team that his dad played for so many years. I like the Panthers in this one.
You know, I hate to be agreeing with him, but I'm saying that, look, the Saints won big. It was the most notable news in week 1. Jameis Winston looked like he was the quarterback he was supposed to be coming out of college. I'm not necessarily sold that these Saints are the next best thing in the NFL, but it is a feel-good story. Meanwhile, rookie Zach Wilson was sacked 6 times in that first game in week 1, but most importantly, he rallied his team to win. And as a quarterback, as a rookie, that is a confidence builder. I expect the NFL to bring even more surprises this week. I expect Carolina to win at home.
I'm going to go with the Saints. They beat a very good Green Bay team. I think they are too good for the Panthers. I think they easily cover the spread here. So rounding out the 1 o'clock game is going to be the Jets and the Patriots. The Patriots are going to be a 4-point favorite.
Turnovers and penalties plagued the Patriots in week 1. There is no way Bill Belichick lets his team do that again, right? Consistency should give the advantage to New England.
Yep.
I can't believe that the Pats are only a 5.5, 6-point favorite here at home. I'm taking them to win by 2 touchdowns at a matchup of Belichick versus a rookie quarterback. That consistency, he is 9-1, Belichick is, against rookie quarterbacks in his last 10 games.
Patriots, they lose week 1. I think they bounce back. Mac Jones, he is the answer. He is the future. He looked pretty good. Like you said, just undisciplined football. I like them here covering the spread. Afternoon, it's barely afternoon where Matt is, but it's deep in the afternoon where we are. And it's the Cardinals and the Vikings. And the Cardinals are opening up at a 4-point favorite versus the Vikings.
Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins picked up where they left off last year. That's all I'm going to say here for the offensive part. I think they can dominate this one because Chandler Jones really showed up in week 1 matchup where he got not just 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. He got 5 sacks. He may not get that this time, but he might get close against Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. I'd say Arizona all day.
Kyler Murray certainly was firing on all cylinders already in week 1 and game 1, getting 5 touchdowns in that game. The Vikings simply couldn't get out of their own way against the Bengals. I think Murray is going to be a nightmare for that Vikings defense. I'm taking Arizona.
I'm going to say the Vikings, I'm going to say they bounce back. I think their defense is good. I think their offense can be better, potentially win, but I think it's going to be a very close game. I think they cover that 4-point spread. They even have a chance to take down Arizona. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady taking on the Falcons, and the Buccaneers are opening, from what I'm seeing, at a 12.5-point favorite.
I don't think there's much to say in this one. Brady and the gang shouldn't even let Atlanta come anywhere near in this game. Bucks should just crush in this one. I don't care what the spread is.
Wow, he's loving it. And that's the West Coast guy going hard for that Florida team. Brandon, what are you thinking?
I'm with Matt on this one when it comes to the spread. I looked at this game and I thought 2 touchdowns right away. Matt Ryan looked pedestrian in a blowout loss to the Eagles. And the Bucks came back from a tight game against the Cowboys to win. I expect them to win big here at home. I expect them to cover by 17.
I think that Tampa Bay, they were in a very close game with one of, if not the worst defense. I'm liking Atlanta covering the spread. I think they're going to come in, their coach, the players are going to be fired up. They got blown out to Philadelphia, NFC East team, and nobody likes to lose to any team in Philadelphia. I think they're going to come back.
I think you're wrong, but okay.
I guess
no.
We'll be back to check that out next week, week 3, because you guys heard it. That is my upset of the week. First of 2 425 games. It is Seattle and the Tennessee Titans, and the Seahawks are opening at a 5.5-point favorite.
I think the Titans should perform better than they did in week 1. Of course, it's kind of nowhere to go but up for them. But if Seattle just lets Russ cook, I think the air attack should counter the Derrick Henry ground game very well. I like the Seahawks still. I think Tennessee will go 0-2. Kind of surprising.
This just in, Russell Wilson is still Russell Wilson and darn good starting this year off. 4 touchdowns in week 1. I expect them to keep it going against the Titans team that simply couldn't get that run going in week 1. Gave up 5 touchdowns to Kyler Murray. I expect the Seahawks to cover at home.
I'm going to go Tennessee winning, let alone covering the spread. 5.5-point spread. I think they're just too good. I think they're a very strong contender in the AFC. Tennessee gets back on track. The Titans not only win the game, but they cover the spread. We have the Chargers and the Cowboys, and the Chargers are opening up at a 3-point favorite.
This one should be good. If there's any game of the week this week, this is the one. I might want to point out that the difference here could be the extra time to prep for Dallas coming off that Thursday game. I'm taking Dallas here, but I think it's a coin toss.
Here's a stat for the week. Dak threw it 58 times last week. Justin Herbert threw it 47 times. I expect to see a shootout this week. Even if neither team was able to capitalize on all their chances in the red zone last week, they're going to get another chance this week. Home field for the Chargers, but I see Dallas taking this one. Though I'm not completely sold that they're a contender just because they played the Bucs tight in week 1.
Yep, I agree with you, and I'm gonna kind of segue off that point. And I think they're gonna find another way to lose here against the Chargers. Easily, the Chargers I think it should open right around 7 or 8. I think they're going to, get into that shootout, but the difference is the Chargers have a defense. And Tampa Bay was preseason form. They were supposed to have one of the better defenses. I think the Chargers figure it out, and they not only win this game, but they're going to cover the spread easily. Baltimore Chiefs, and the Chiefs are a 2.5-point favorite.
I think right now, since it's still so early, Baltimore's ground game is kind of in shambles still. They're still relying on a young guy in Tyson Williams. I don't know if it's there yet, even though I know they've made a bunch of pickups and a lot of veterans, but I don't think that comes into fruition until a couple weeks down the road. We're in week 2. The Chiefs are healthy and they're ready to go. The Chiefs should handle this.
Over the past few days, we heard about Devontae Freeman. We heard about Le'Veon Bell. They've obviously been plagued, the Ravens, that is, with injuries at running back. With the Ravens having issues keeping a solid running game, and Lamar Jackson being 0-3 against the Chiefs in his career, I expect the Chiefs to cover easily here.
If it stays at 2.5, I think the Chiefs are a better team here. I think they can win by a field goal. No problem. If the Chiefs can ever come out like they finish games, they're a very scary team if they play like they do for 4 quarters and not 1.5 to 2 quarters. So our final game, Monday night, Packers Lions. Packers are a 10.5-point favorite, and I am not excited at all to watch that game next Monday.
I think I'm going to trust the reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers to bounce back. He's got an extra day to prepare for a Lions defense that just gave up more than 40 points, okay? I do like the Packers here.
Packers lost 38-3 in week 1. It was the NFL story of the week. They looked like a train wreck, but in the wise words of Aaron Rodgers, RELAX, relax. Everything is going to be okay. That is if the Packers can get off to a hot start and keep the pedal to the metal. And I expect them to do so against the Lions team that's led by Jared Goff, who threw 57 times in week 1. If I'm the Lions, I don't want Jared Goff throwing it 57 times. Packers win, but I don't think they cover.
I think the Packers win. I think they almost not have to win, but do they want to be another storyline again? No. In my opinion, I think that spread's going to continue to grow over the week, and I'm super excited to kind of watch that. Guys, that's week 2 NFL predictions and picks. Now we are going to give you the Vegas Odds staff writers NFL locks of week 2.
Right now, Tom McNeil is 0-1, and he's going to take the New England Patriots money line this week. By the way, the Patriots were taken as a lock of the week last week against the Dolphins. Oh boy on that one. But he's going to take the Patriots and the Jets here, and he's got a pretty safe bet here. I like this as a lock.
Any team facing the Jets, I'm on that bandwagon.
Well then, and Matt, Beardlaws 1-0 so far with the Jaguars and the Broncos. You're taking the Broncos here. I mean, we already talked about this.
I agree. What's funny is if you were following message boards for the Broncos fans, they were up in arms over Teddy Bridgewater getting that starting job. I think they've quieted down a little bit after this last win and this last week. I think this is a solid lock.
And obviously, you know who I'm liking, why I'm liking it. Lock of the week. Beardlaw's going to be 2-0 next week.
So Brian Henzel is 1-0 as well, and he's taking Tampa Bay with that -13 over the Falcons, and I think we all agreed that the Falcons should not come even close here.
Even if it's -13 here, I like this pick. I don't think it's much of a stretch. It may seem like, he's going on a limb. I don't think so. I think Tom Brady backed Bucks. This is the way to go.
I think Brian's going to be 1-1. We spoke a little earlier. I like the Falcons Falcons covering that spread. I just don't see them being that bad. We'll see if Brian's going to improve to 2-0 next week, right?
Right. You did talk about how they were able to cover. We'll see. We'll see about that one.
Yep.
Annie Adkins, on the other hand, she's also 1-0. She's taken the Cleveland Browns over the Texans. I do think Cleveland can handle the Texans.
I think Cleveland, what they didn't do last week was keep that pedal to the metal. And if they would have up 9 against the Chiefs late in the game, then they could have won, walking away, but they weren't able to. I think it's a good pick. I don't know if I would have went with this one for my lock, but I see why she did.
I just think it's a lot of points. A lot of people are expecting a huge blowout. I think Houston is going to Tyrod Taylor. He's just had so much unfortunate luck with getting hurt. I think he keeps it close.
And for Carl Taylor, he's 0-1 so far, and he's taken what I think could be a risky one. We'll see. Chicago Bears. He's going to take the Bears to take out the Bengals, or at least maybe cover this -3.
Bears are 3-7 over the last 10 against the spread. I don't like this at all. So I think this is a bad pick, Carl.
I agree with you guys here. I like Cincy here. I think Carl's going 0-2. So come back next week. Again, we were 3-2 to start the year. Let's see what we improve to next week. We already know it's going to be at least 4-2 because, my lock of the week is a lock of the week. Thank you, Matt and Brandon, for being a part of this as well. You guys are absolutely amazing. Brandon, what do they do to the YouTube videos if they really like them?
You subscribe. You ring that bell.
Give it that thumbs up. But either way, we'll be back next week, week 3. Stay safe. Stay informed, everybody.